Okay, hello everybody, and then then we is with the end the part 6, and then I will assemble this my old Olympus Pen EED, and it has been a long journey, I know, but I think it will be good. So let's go into it. So and I have cleaned some of the parts here with lighter fluid and isopropyl alcohol sammen, and so I will just do a light, very light lube with the Liqui-Moly LM47, and I will also use a very fine clock oil. So that's good sewing machine oil, but it's a very thin. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Yeah, I will just begin with the yeah, mechanism plate with the lens on. I mean the focusing helicoil, and it works really good in my opinion. So I can just put the lens assembly with the shutter blades in, and just need some and then put it in. And this pin here, is the one that activate the shutter blades. So I will just put it in, but before doing so, I will put this arm lever over to, if I can, it's not that easy. I just see what to do, because I have to have this arm here all the way over here, and then that way activate the yeah, one can do so. And let's see if we can go and get it. So something like that, and in that, gosh, didn't work, but maybe we can do it anyway. Not good. Try again. So put this out here and have it all the way over here, because then this arm is coming out here, so I can then put the lens shutter assembly in, and this arm here will be on the right side, I mean the correct side of this lever here. So it should work. And there's a guide pin here. This guide pin here, it goes into the notch here, so it the shutter lens assembly will sit correct. So it should be something like there, hopefully, and have to click it into place. Yeah, and then if I release the arm here on the back, it should close. Yeah, something is working. And then I can take the retaining ring that holds the shutter lens assembly and go a little backward, and then find the thread and then put it in, and use my homemade tool here, just put it on, and then screw it in. It fits really good, this tool here. So let's see if it's actually working. I think it should, because then I can activate the arm, the lever here on the back, and hopefully, or we should just advance the okay, something is not working as it should. Okay, it was not set correct, so we do it again. No, 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 no. So what's going on? It's not the self-timer. Okay. So what's happened? Yeah, I can see it doesn't sit correct. We can just unscrew it again, because something's happened. Nope, it's not correct. And the retaining ring out, and then, well, okay, if I then do, let's see, this arm here has to go all the way over to here, and in that way I will activate it, so it's something like that. So one have to turn it a little. So if I put it in, and then I will turn this the shutter lens assembly, and then it should this hook kind of, it should come in on this side of this pin. So I think it would work. Hopefully. Yes. So now we should be able to put it correct in. Going a little backward. So then click into place. So something like that. Hope it works. We can just so something doesn't seem to. Okay, what's going on? If I press here, something is not working correct. Okay, yeah, I can see. I didn't put it in correct. It has to go over and find the notch, which, I mean, this one here. And it didn't do that. So now we try it again. Yeah, sometimes it's not easy. and maybe this one has to be all the way all to there, and then it should sit there as I see it, and then close. Then it should be, I should be able to put it in, hopefully. I think it, and then it opens. Ah, okay, it turns, of course. I can see what's going on, okay. And then it comes out of the precision. Okay, we do it again. Learning by doing is the only way. Maybe someone have a small tips of what is the correct way of doing this. I mean, there must be somebody out there who has a lot of knowledge in assemble those old cameras like this Olympus, so they maybe could share their knowledge. So there, just try another solution, I mean another way of doing it that I think would work, and it sits correct, which I think and doing so there, and then I think it should work. I mean, now it sits in the correct position as I see it. Yeah, I think it will be fine for that. So, and let's see if we advance the shutter. Hopefully, yeah, and then here we are. So everything is, I mean, it's 1:15 and it's the shutter speed that is without the battery in, or the aperture ring to set to auto. So that's just the way it works. And I would think we just continue, put in the shutter into the housing, and say that's all fine. And before we do so, we will need to put in the light shell ring, kind of. I don't know the correct name, but just put it in so it sits correct. So now, yeah, I think we have everything in place, and then we should be able to put this the shutter assembly with all the parts in here. But I mentioned in the beginning that I set some small marks here, both on the intermediate gear, those two gears. So I simply set a mark here. I know it's difficult to see, but I set a mark here, and I also set a mark over here on both the gear wheel. And at the same time I set this mark here on this gear wheel, and they should fit as I put it in. Oh, you just have to have this wire here, so, and then put it in, and you can see the two marks has to go on there. Now the shutter sits correct, and now I should be, has to sit there, and then I should be able to screw it in with the two screws there and up here. And I know I also have to screw it in on the back, but I will just fix it so I know where it is. And so we have it, this there, this tiny screw comes in here, has to sit there. Now, so we have something in place, and my marks up here are correct. So there. So I can just put the other screw in, so things, let's say, sit in place, kind of. Yeah, sometimes it's better to use a tweezer. Then put it in there. Okay, yeah, there it is. Huh. So we are almost back on track, but I would like to screw in the 4 screws here on the back, so I'm let's say in a safe position. And where did it go? I have another screwdriver here. So there. So, and so and the third one. And the last one here. So let's see if it actually works. I mean, if I advance the shutter, something should work. Wow. I mean, that's really good. And it sounds much more alive than it was before I took it apart. So that's really good. Well, I should actually have put in the the battery wire here before I took it apart. And let's see, yeah, it should just go in here. I mean, I should put this in before I put in the shutter the shutter assembly. Gosh, it's not easy. So, but I think it will be really good. And now with a fully working self-timer and a, oh come on, there it should be. And here we are. And then I can just I see the point. It was just me who put the this wire. It should go in another route. I think there was something that was not correct. So it has to go this way here. And then I can put in the white wire. Something like that. And yeah, I think it would work as it should. And then the two screws, where did they go? Somewhere. I mean, they should be here. I've seen them in a few days ago. Okay, they're here. Yeah, I put them up here. So then put them in. And my screwdriver here. And so there, it will be interesting when this is done. So, and gently tighten them. So, it's fine. And yeah, then we can take the let's see, the inner aperture ring here. And then it has to sit with the pin, sit something like that. And also because of the cam here, this cam here has to be, I mean the pin in here, that with the shutter, this the aperture has to sit like this, so it can move back and forth. And then this part here comes in, and it has to sit somewhere, like it has to catch the notch. You probably can see this notch here. Sit something like that. And I will just use just a little of molybdenum, just a slightly on the back here, so it will run smooth. And then put it in. So it will fit like here. So yeah, I can see the point. It has to have something more on the edge here. Way too much, I know. Because this is actually what's so. Because if it's way too stiff, it could be because it missed something grease in here. So next I will put on this tiny piece of metal, the connection for the aperture ring, and so it should sit something like that. And as you maybe remember, I set some mark here, so they should sit in line when I put the screws on. I mean, when I tighten the screws, so they has to sit correct. And with a tiny screwdriver here, Oh, so yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm hitting the point in with the camera. I mean my fingers. So we have to adjust it a little so things sit correct. But I will just do it to work. So now it sits correct. And then we can just see how things sit. Has to sit correct in line with those mark I set in the beginning. I also have a mark over here, so there's no, I mean, it can only sit in that one position. So that's why it is so important when you, I mean, before you take it apart, remember to set marks so you know where things should sit. So now, wow, really good. And then I can add the little steel ball and the ring, the front ring with the index mark here, and all the notches here. So I will just give it a very light amount of grease here, so the steel ball will run good. Not too much. And then the tiny steel ball comes in. Oh gosh. So, and then put the I should also put in the front lens group, and just have so, and then put this in, going a little backward to catch the thread, so you will not damage any threads, and use my rubber tool, not the biggest one, but the next one should be all fine. Maybe too big, we take the next, which will be number 4. So tighten it gently, and then I can add this the front, the index ring. Where is my index mark? Here. Then put it on. It can only sit in one position, so there's no problem in that way. Then catch the... There are some notches here, and they should fit on the front. You maybe can see there is a kind of a notch here. There's also a notch down here. So the ring can only sit in one position. It will say something like that here. So, and then, wow, it's really good. And then I can add the front ring. Catch the thread. Should be able to screw a little backward. So. And then tighten it good. And now we have a really good working aperture ring. And the focusing ring, wow, really good. That's great. This old camera come back to life. And the shutter is also working. I mean, that's good. So yeah, next it will be the top here, I guess, which will be this. And I also have to solder some wires, and I need a kind of a stand to put this section here on. I can just use a rubber tool, something like that, and then add this wire here. Hold on a second. You can just have something underneath the front, and then add this wire here. Give it some new, there you go. Some solder. Yes, it's just to fresh up the end of the wire here. So that's it. And maybe we can also do it with the other. So now it's better to solder it with the new solder on. Then with a tweezer, I mean the end is a little too long as I see it. So and then solder it on here. So, and here we are. And then next the this part goes in, and it has to sit correct. So it will sit like, let's see, something like that. Let's see if we can add this on here. Has to sit correct there. And then add the 3 screws. And there is one special screw. It will say this screw, which is different from the other 2, which is, let's say, normal screws. And the special one has to sit in the middle. And in the middle, well, it's down here. So I will just take it up again, the assembly here, and put it in, because it's way much easier if we put it in here and then put the assembly on again. So it sits like something like that. And now I can add it on, because then it will be much easier to screw it in. Then have a screwdriver ready. Where did it go here? And then simply screw it in. Doesn't sit correct yet. I'm not in the correct position. So we will just sit it over here. Not that one. And then it should be here. So, and now it sits correct. And you can see it goes up here. So when I put a battery in, we can just put the bottom on. I mean, not yet. But we can just see if I put a battery in here, put the cap on, will it work? No, it needs the minus, I mean the plus actually. So well, I can actually put on the sides, the wings here on each side, and there are something we just need to add a little loop on the on this little pin for the self timer. And then put it in here. So give it some movement and it will work. Yeah, and then at this side, and also remember the very front button for the self timer, and I will just make it much easier to put in with a little amount of grease here on the back, just a tiny amount here, because hopefully the button will just sit with the grease in, and it will also make it easier to push in. So it has to sit there, and it works fine. So the grease will act as a kind of a glue or so, and then I can add the wing here and catch those holes so it sits like that. Then add the the screws for the side. Tighten them good, and the other one that is hidden behind the plastic leather. And then I can do the other side, so they are fully in. Just remember I tightened this screw. Yeah, it was tightened. So this one has to go into the gap here. Oh, hold on. This one has to go in here. If it's possible, yes, it is. Then take 2 screws. I'll just use the other one here. So there. And the last one. And so now then I will add some glue on it, and simply, where's my tool here? So the wings are ready and we do not miss anything. Just a little amount of glue, doesn't have to be much. And we can just use the dentist tool here to spread the glue a little. So then take the other side. There, and it's all fine. So there, and simply, oh, there was a little too much. Okay, then press on the end here, because it has to be pressed around the corner, and do it on the other side too. So, and then I will add the lock side plate. I don't know the name for that. But this part can only sit there, and I will just do in that way here. So then add the spring, and of course it can move around, so we need to have kind of a way of putting it on. This can only sit in one position, so I will simply use my dentist tool to simply hold. I will load a screwdriver first with a screw, and then I will press down the spring here so it fits in the notch, and stay there. Oh, that was just some glue. Not really good. So there. Then the spring stays there. Then I can put on the plate, and then hopefully release the tool and then put it on. And now you can see it works. Then add a screw up here, down here. So there. Then do the other screw. So there. Whew. Here we are. Use a rubber tool or something to have it on a kind of a stand like this, so you can add the back film door, the film door here, so you do not need to hold it. And then add the screws and just check that the leather here is coming under the metal plate. And since I in the very beginning set 3 marks here, I know exactly which holes I should use. That's again why it is so important to set marks. So, and the last one. And I know the leather on the other side, I have to press it a bit down so the glue will dry a little. And it seems to look pretty good. With a much clearer lens and a working self-timer and a slow gear that is also working. So that's really good. So I can just add the bottom plate, and because then I will see, and actually, oh gosh, okay, got it. Sometimes when they fall on the floor, whoa, not good. And then I will put in the this plastic part for the rewinder, and then it stays there. So I can gently put the bottom plate on. So there. And then put in the 2 screws. So, and the other screw. So, and now I can actually check if my shutter and the light meter is also working with putting in the battery, and see if everything is fine, as I hope. So and if we set it to auto, yeah, you can see, oh, now here we can see how it actually works. It's quite simple in a way. The needle for the light meter, which you can see here, this moving. So when I hide the light meter sensor, the needle will move. So if I press the shutter, it will then, if I advance the shutter, of course, it will change the shutter speed depending on how much or little light comes in. So that's actually quite simple in a way. The closer I go to light, then the faster the shutter speed will be. And if I am further away, it cannot take pictures because there's too less light. But it's also depending on how the ASA is set. So by changing that, it could be a better thing. And then it goes faster. And if we hide the light meter needle, it will, I mean, almost, then it will go there. It goes a bit slower. So the aperture ring, to use the numbers here, it's only when you use flash. So the camera seems to be working much better than before I took it apart. So I could just put the screws in here, and where did it go here? There. So, and put this screw in here. I shouldn't tighten the screw yet, not fully. So okay, another screwdriver. So there and there, and in the middle here. So, wow, that was really interesting. I will just add some kind of small amount of grease on the shutter button here, this pin. Doesn't have to be much, way too much. So, and it has to sit in here. Give it some movement, and we can just take it away and then add the let's see, the the viewfinder. So there, and add the viewfinder on. And it has to sit there, and the wire has to come up somewhere here. And remember, this gap here is actually for the, if there is too less light, so the camera will not have fire. This one will pop up, the red one, and it will pop up between the gap here, so it has to sit correct. So let's see how it will go. I think take it all the way over here. Where's my tweezer here? Well, I think I just will take it out there, so it can come around up to the flash socket here, and then put in the 2 screws for the viewfinder. And since I also set marks around here, I know where it should sit. And I set the mark just because of my own reference, because well, if you do not have a repair manual for this camera, what will you do? So on with the wire for the flash here, and I can also give it some new and then add it to the connection here. And that's all fine. And then put the top cover on. Remember, the wire here has to find its correct way, and also the ASA. Oh, of course we also need to put on the, where did it go? The shutter button. Yeah, has to sit there. And the little hole, so it's correct. And here you can see the red color that tells you, okay, there is way too little, there's way too less light. So now put this on here, and the ASA has to also sit correct. And then here we are. And we just have to put it on something much higher. ASA. Wow. It works pretty good. That's yeah, big success as I see it. And then I can take this screw here and put in on this side here. Then the two on the, oh gosh, I missed something. Yes, well, so it is sometimes. Of course, yeah, nobody's perfect. I need to put this the piece of metal, I don't know the name, it's for the film roll. It has to sit there, so and then I can put it on again, and here we are. On with this, in with the screw. So we are almost there. I think it has been an interesting and tour through a different camera. I mean, many cameras are really different from each other, but this one seems to be a little more interesting. Then the film rewinder. Remember the spacer here? It has to sit there. And use the end of a tweezer or so to put it on here. And then gently, not tighten it too much. You can break one of the legs here. So, and then the self-timer lever, and then we are back on normal again. Put this screw in. I mean, I could use some thread lock here, which I maybe should do, just to, because so the self-timer will sit, I mean the screw will sit where it should, if I can get this out. Oh gosh. And it will not unscrew itself, just a tiny amount. Then use my homemade tool here to screw this special screw in. So there. Tighten it good. And here we are. Wow, that was good. Very, very interesting. And the self-timer, does it work? I mean, it's smart. You can advance the self-timer and still take a picture. So advance again and then activate the self-timer. And that's all for me, actually. Hope you enjoy the content and can use it. So that's all. Bye bye.